Thank you all so much for being here. Good morning, good afternoon. Um, Thank you for joining us for the last Near Foundation Town Hall of 2023. Super exciting. It was definitely an eventful year for Near, but I'm definitely even more excited for what's in store for 2024. Today's town hall will be focused around like a year in review. We'll hear some exciting things from hubs and partners, as well as from the ecosystem about what happened in 2023. We'll also learn a little bit about what to expect in 2024. I want to, once again, thank you all for being here, taking the time. Definitely share this out. Without further ado, let's get into it. I'll go ahead and hand things over to Illia for an introduction.
Okay. Hope everyone is excited about upcoming holidays. I see Marcus is already in very festive outlook. So yeah, I just wanted to give like a quick what is Open Web introduction. So if we go forward, our kind of standard definition of internet where all people control their assets, data, and power of governance. And I do want to kind of expand a little bit on this because we say this a lot, but for me, really, when we say control our own assets, right, it's about making sure that the assets are yours, not the banks, right? Not the middlemen. And I'm originally from Ukraine. We had over 100 banks who have failed in 10 years. I lived through hyperinflation. My grandparents' savings, there's still a book which has a record of how much savings they have, but it doesn't exist anymore. But even in US, right, we had two banks failing this year, where, it went from at least for a while, for a bit, people thought that everything they have there is not there anymore. For data, it's really about, the kind of everything we right now use, it's actually getting used kind of by these companies to make profit. And this is kind of the general trade-off that we all adopted into new internet paradigm, but it's in general leads to this kind of Black Mirror episode, right? Where corporations are controlling more and more what we do through this data. And in this emergence of AI world, is this going to just even continue more? And we're going to have intelligence kind of as like service of intelligence, right, being controlled by few companies. And that means that like they will be able to kind of influence and uh, define how we gonna be interacting with the world. And again, this is where we're trying to build something that's is opposing that and is giving ability for everyone to be able to have direct say. And I think governance is something we don't talk that much, but there's a general challenge of principal agent problem where when we select somebody to do things on our behalf, right, be that a representative in the government or uh, a kind of agent that, does investments on our behalf or something else, like there's always a problem that that agent has their own motivation. And that motivation drives different results and like they have self-interest. And so kind of what we're trying to really achieve here is resolve this challenge and create a way to have a direct say in the decisions, right? And obviously not in the way where like you need to decide on every single small decision, but actually automating that. So kind of those are pieces really coming together in this vision is the self-sovereignty, is ability for individuals to really kind of control the things around them and influence the things that they participating in communities they're participating. So if we go to the next slide, the what we're trying to do is to become the entry point. We want to we want to be the place where people come to Open Web, experience it. They are able to interact with not just near blockchain, but also all the other pieces of the Open Web ecosystem. And to do that, if we go to the next slide, one important part is chain abstraction. Is this idea that although near blockchain itself is a very useful kind of protocol, it allows to build applications, it scales, it has a lot of capabilities. The challenge, though, is that there will be more blockchains and rollups and other kind of different infrastructure providers which are running their applications. And zero knowledge is interestingly enables what I call kind of unification of security, where you can run a single server that provides proofs of the execution, and it's as kind of secure as if you ran it on hundreds of thousands of machines, kind of validating the same compute. And Near is from the start being designed for this idea of chain abstraction, because on Near, every account is a separate chain or a rollup. And we really package them in a way to abstract out the blockchain and like abstract out all this complexity of different interactions of different chains and shards, etc., under the hood. And so that's why we've been starting to build this blockchain operating system, is really to bring it out of just kind of this near blockchain, but to the whole Web3 ecosystem, and kind of really bring this chain abstraction to everyone. So kind of, I mean, you've all seen this stack of protocols, kind of data layer, identity layer, and application layer that blockchain operating system is comprised of. And really, all of these pieces need to work together to abstract the blockchain, to provide the user experience to the user that is truly not requires user to understand the details and infrastructure and switch networks and bridge things, but actually just use the applications they want. And one of the pieces that we really kind of excited and looking forward, if we go to the next slide, all right, before that. So on the protocol side, right, there's like a few pieces that are important. One of them is, as more kind of these rollups are spinning up an ecosystem, and the way to think about it is those rollups are home servers, right? Somebody can spin up your own server for your own application, versus Near is more like a cloud where you can launch your application and there's like number of data centers everywhere, and the new data center has been built, like we're resharding and adding one more shard to kind of expand, always have more capacity for the network, in the network, as people are building more applications. But at the same time, there's kind of home servers rollups need ability to kind of connect to the rest of the network, and to do that, they need to provide data availability, and they need to kind of settle their execution, have cross-chain messaging, all of the things that Near blockchain has been also doing for the kind of our internal rollups, the accounts on Near. And so we offering kind of all that, opened up all that offering to them. But if we go to the next slide, the kind of one of the core pieces that we want to introduce is this idea that if you use Near account, you'll be able to transact on other chains. So the idea that you will have addresses on other chains that you can interact through, by pretty much sending transactions on Near. And this is similar conceptually to when you log into Coinbase, you have addresses on other chains that you can deposit funds to, but it's non-custodial and it allows you to actually interact with apps there. And kind of that is probably the biggest piece that needs to come in to really enable this chain abstraction idea, to truly kind of remove the need for a user to actually switch networks, bridge, and can use kind of single view application like DapDap and others, and just kind of interact with whatever apps are there. And so I think like this is one of the core pieces that kind of the teams are working on in the new ecosystem, to really bring it all together and make kind of this transition that we're working on, which is it's not just about kind of the near layer one, which it is, powerful and enables a lot of things, but also it kind of opens up the whole ecosystem in Web3 to the near users to be able to participate and be active with. So yeah, I've been doing some Twitter spaces. So we did one with Bankless, as well as we did a retro on Neat, and sharing more about the phase 2 of sharding with Bowen and Eric. And I'm going to be doing weekly Twitter spaces now, unless kind of can't make it, but obviously we'll try to get more people to participate. And we have one tomorrow that I think Marcus just shared, to talk about DA and chain abstraction in more depth. So I invite everyone to join. All right, protocol update next.
Could you go to the next slide? Yeah, so just want to provide some update on the work that we're doing on the protocol. Kind of talk about this already at the Twitter space last week, but know that not everyone was there. So just want to reiterate some of the things we're working on and our plans for the next year. So I know that people expressed concerns after what happened with the NEAT minting a couple of weeks ago. So we are actually going to implement, actually release the resharding in the next near core release. So what this does is that it will split the largest shard on near today. So shard 3, where both the Cosmos contract and also the Sweat contract reside on, into 2 separate shards. So, I mean, obviously, this helps with more capacity and also reduce the size of the state in shard 3. But also, this is for us to test our resharding approach in case that we want to use it in the future as well. And then, obviously, that's not the only thing we're working on. Looking forward into 2024, the stateless validation work that I talked about NearCon is going to be released in early 2024. And this would allow us to complete the original phase 2 of sharding goal, where it's completely sharded system, both transaction and state both transaction processing and state are sharded. And also stateless validation, because it allows us to hold the state in memory, will also significantly improve the performance of each single shard. And that would give the network a lot more capacity. And in case there's a next big load on mainnet, it should be handled perfectly fine. And in January, we also plan to launch this this testing network specifically for the stateless validation launch, so that people can come in and send a lot of transactions. We may even incentivize people to send a lot of transactions just to see how the network would perform under that huge load. And finally, kind of given what happened during the NEAT minting, we know that while the kind of the protocol worked in a way as expected, the expected way is not necessarily the most optimal. So we will work on congestion control and then figuring out how we can allow people to prioritize transactions, so that in case of congestion, they can still send their transactions if, for example, if they want to pay a bit more, and also figuring out how to ensure that we localize the impact of the congestion a bit more, so that if like one shard is congested, or like if one contract is very hot, it doesn't cause the gas price to rise globally, so that people doing other things on other unrelated shards would not be affected. So yeah, that's some of the things that we're working on, we're excited about. Yeah, so that's the update from me.
Amazing. Thank you, Bowen, for that. Cool. So in the KPIs section, just wanted to do a quick overview of how we did this past year. And so to start with, the main metric, our North Star for 2023 was monthly active accounts. We came into the year just under 1 million monthly active accounts, closer to 800,000. And we are about to finish the year over 5 million monthly active accounts. So that's roughly a 6x increase from the beginning of the year to where we are today, which is absolutely incredible to see such amazing growth. And as Illia mentioned, we are consistently one of the most active chains across any in the entire space. And two big reasons for this, both Sweat and Kai. So Sweat we launched about a year ago, and Kai more recently. But collectively, they represent, I mean, at this point, probably closer to 3.5 million monthly active accounts between them. So Near is home to two of the biggest consumer apps in all of Web3. So it's incredible to see both of those products and applications continue to grow and get mainstream adoption coming to Near. And then looking at the top 10 apps across all chains, looking at the past 30 days of data, we have 4 of the top 10. So Kaiching and Sweat, plus also Pipeflare and Play Ember round out 4 out of the top 10 across all blockchains. So that's incredible to see our apps growing. I mentioned this earlier. On a daily basis, we now are seeing over 1 million daily active accounts, up from around 150,000 in the beginning of the year. So that's like a 7x increase in daily active accounts. And if you look at a handful of peers, you see that we are just growing faster and faster and outpacing nearly everyone else on a daily basis. So again, amazing to see such active engagement with the blockchain. And then in terms of transactions, yeah, I mean, another insane year that we have seen. And we had our peak a couple of weeks ago with over 10 million transactions on chain. And again, we're consistently now seeing 1 million to 2 million transactions every single day, which is insane compared to where we were a year ago. So again, amazing job to everyone here and the rest of the ecosystem for driving mainstream adoption. And now you'll get to hear from a lot of the projects and hubs that are making this all a reality.
Awesome. Just want to say thank you all for being here. We can segue into Banyan. Cameron.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? My name is Cameron Dennis. I know a lot of you, but in case you don't know me, worked at Near Foundation for about 2 years, spun out in the last year to start the Banyan Collective to help scale Near in the United States, as well as, fill some of the gaps in the ecosystem, and would love to kind of just tell you what we've been up to in the last year. So click next slide. So yeah, as I kind of highlighted, our main objective is to scale Near the US, and we sort of focus on 2 things besides that, is like Boss DevX, because in the last year, Boss was launched. And, for us to really scale Near in the United States, we want to work with a lot of different ecosystems. And to do so, we actually really need better developer experience. And so we've had to focus on improving the Boss DevX. And the second thing is public goods infrastructure, because if we don't have sustainable pathways for founders and builders to get money, then we're going to have a really hard time scaling Near in the United States. And so we're really trying to build a lot of the solutions that we need and that other regional hubs are going to need as well. So yeah, I think Shot will tell you more about what we've been building with Potlock soon, but if you click the next slide, I don't have that much time, so I'm going to run through it. So we're really focused on, this is for Q1 and Q2, kind of first half. We worked closely with DevHub to recommend some projects to, one, help essentially fill their pipeline of candidates for the owners of My Near Wallet, AstroDAO, and the Near Explorer. So we work closely with builders. We incubated a project called Jutsu. This is a IDE for Boss developers. It's in the browser. We did a lot of stuff. We work with Near Foundation very closely. We organize a lot of events and workshops and meetups, and we sponsor hackathons and run hacker houses. We did in first half of the year, ran the hacker houses at ETH Denver and Consensus in Austin. We realized that hacker houses are an amazing way to actually get builders to ship for the hackathon. Actually, I think like over 90% of all of the people who won Near prizes at ETH Denver were in our hacker house. And so that is a really good signal to the value of these things. You can actually get a lot more sort of bang for your buck if you do a good job coordinating people. And then we really want to support the wallet ecosystem. This is, again, like if we're talking about the entry point to Web3, it starts with somebody creating a wallet. And the reason why I joined Near early on is because it's a flexible account model and the easy opportunity it has to onboard people. So we really want to make sure that the wallet ecosystem is robust. So we applied for a grant through MetaMask to build MetaMask snaps, and then gave that grant to Here Wallet. And the whole point here was to not only like bridge gaps between the Ethereum and Near ecosystems, but also see opportunities to help support the wallet builders. And so we run I think it's bi-weekly wallet builder calls just to give the builders a space to kind of coordinate around missing gaps in the wallet ecosystem. This is during a really kind of turbulent year for Near wallets, given that there was the wallet selector that was dropped and the transition from my Near wallet. So for wallet at Near.org to the selector. So we built a feature list to help rank wallets in the selector. We do a bunch of other like miscellaneous stuff in the first half. We built a lot of like internal reporting and systems for our CRM and cycles for Near Foundation, because honestly, we have not done this before at scale. Like we need a better way to report what we do. And so, yeah, this is kind of first half of the year, managed a ton of Twitter accounts, support the NDC a lot. This is kind of the birth of Boss, and so we ran near.org/gateways to try to make it easier for people to explore the different gateways and create a bunch of content. If you go to our YouTube at Banyan Collective, you'll see a bunch of the stuff that we do. We try our best to, and shout out to Shot and the team for creating evergreen content consistently. So click next slide. This is Q3 and Q4 second half. This quarter was primarily half is primarily focused on getting new builders. We onboarded around 126 new developers to the Near ecosystem, got a ton of different quality components shipped. We launched Potluck to sustain developers and more open source developers, given that bear markets are a hard time for people to make money. So we want to create a way for people to give direct donations and quadratic funding. My background has been working closely with academia and blockchain clubs, and so worked with DevHub and connected them to over like 35 different university clubs to help start their New York campus program. Working very closely with James and the BuildDAO crew. James is, you'll probably see in the next slide, that he is a DevRel with Banyan. He fortunately is actually going to be spinning out to run this thing called BuildDAO, which is really cool. And the whole goal here is to, again, create a more sustainable pathway for builders to receive funding for the Near ecosystem and beyond, supporting things like Boss docs and dev tools and everything. Sponsored a lot of hackathons, ran a lot of events. Is sort of the Near builder support, but at the same time, NDC was getting stood up, and we really want NDC to succeed, because if they do, then we're going to have a much easier time sort of spinning out the communities. To be totally frank, I don't want to run a huge company and organization where we have Near Austin, Seattle, Chicago, DC, Miami, XYZ. I want to spin out local communities that are self-sustaining and have solid leadership. And so we really see the NDC as a great sort of landing point for them. And so we wanted to make sure the NDC was solid. So we actually are proud to say that we referred the most valid voters to the NDC in the first election. We recommended over 16 people to nominate themselves. A lot of them did get elected. We maintained the NDC gateway and the GWG. And, Shot and the team created the RFP book for the NDC product book, which is pretty cool, or the RFP for the book. And sort of going back to the wallet ecosystem side, we work very closely with these wallets to get them to support the wallet selector. We created this thing called Onboard DAO that eventually spun out of Banyan and is now living solely in the NDC, which is really cool. And the whole point here is to kind of take over the role that we were having supporting the Near wallets. So they got at least approved for funding for the NDC. And then we ran the account abstraction hacks or track at NearCon. We shipped Near Snaps to mainnet. It is live today. It's not super useful, so we want to make sure that we improve the functionality before we go very public with an announcement with MetaMask and everything. And then a bunch of miscellaneous things. We ran a summit with this amazing person called Era in San Francisco. It was called Edge Intelligence or Edge Summit. And the whole point here was to gather the top researchers and engineers in the AI space in San Francisco to help sort of seed a narrative for the Near ecosystem and real products to be built around running superintelligence on local devices and having that interact with blockchains. And so ran that in SF in September. That was really cool. And we built a bunch of stuff. Shout out to Shot and the team kind of working with him. built a Telegram wallet, a bunch of stuff like mint-based functionality on Boss, running all these DAO tooling calls and NFT calls, really just trying to be like ecosystem management is the way I frame it. So yeah, we run newsletters primarily in SF New York. Super proud to say that our open rate is above 45%, which is insane. So just trying to grow near the United States, and in 2024, hope to scale beyond San Francisco, New York, looking at Austin and Seattle for the next hubs. More to come. You will be hearing more from us, and hopefully the products that actually come out of Banyan, because ultimately the Banyan tree, it's a tree, by the way, if anyone's curious, and the whole point is the roots grow from the top, and if the trunk is healthy, the roots grow, and we create a forest of trees. So if our tree dies, other trees exist. So yeah, that's the TLDR of what we did for the year. Oh, and this is the team. Wouldn't be possible without them. They're incredible. Shout out to especially the community managers, Joanna and Alejandra in SF in New York, James on DevRel, Lachlan on engineering, Web3 plug on the head of decentralization, and none of that would be possible without Jerry, who is keeping the ship afloat day to day with management and ops. So shout out to the team. And yeah, if you want to stay in touch, Twitter is not NEARHacks. Twitter is actually Banyan_Near. And something that we like to say is a quote from Balaji is win and help win. If we win, we help you win. If you win, help someone else win. And if you want to check out all the different support channels that we don't manage all of them, but we sort of aggregated them at nearbuilders.com.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Cameron. Amazing stuff you guys are doing on the Banyan side. Next up, I think JLo had a little bit of issues with her flight. So I think we have David stepping in for Vietnam Hub. David, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay, so yeah, I'm David. We're from the Near Vietnam Hub. So today I'm going to be sharing a little bit about some of the highlights that we had over the course of the year. So we'll start with some of the events that we hosted, as well as some KPI metrics regarding our brand growth and some of the educational programs that we run, along with the events that we host throughout the years as well. Yep. So across 2023, we ran a total of 6 university tours across various IT universities in Vietnam, particularly in Ho Chi Minh City. We also run a lot of offline and online meetups. So 2 we did in Hanoi City and Ho Chi Minh City. One of them is success strategies for next cycle. I think Illia was also there for that. And both of these were leading up to the big event for the year, which was NEARWEEK 2023, which took place around September. And we also did other speakership at various events across Vietnam as well. Next. Yeah, so this is one of the picture of the unit tour that we did at the University of Information and Technology. Illia was here also introducing to students about the boss. So we had a lot of these unit tours throughout between June and August to kind of onboard a lot of people to register, as well as for the hackathon that we did in tandem with the event. Yep. And this was the success strategy cycle for next cycle event that we did at Hong Kong University as well in the time frame that Illia was there as well. And yeah, the biggest highlight of the year was NEARWEEK. We had 25,000 people register for it. Across 2 days, we had over 20,000 attendees. We had 200 plus media and press coverage, over 5 million social interactions and impression, 600 engagement. And we had over 5,000 developers participating in both the boot camps leading on to the coding challenges, as well as the hackathons that we did in parallel with the event, as well as over 20 winning teams for the hackathon for a prize pool of 2.7 billion VND, which is around 110,000 US dollar, and distributed quite a lot of gifts throughout the event. And we also brought a few to NearCon as well in Lisbon. Yeah. Yeah, in terms of KPIs for branding and growth, we had over 200% increase in terms of Twitter followers and 10% increase from KPI from our Telegram community between Q4 and Q1. Yeah, and in terms of the Near Community Grants programs, we'll be providing 4 community meetups grants between now and next quarter. We had 35 application form, and the first programs that we're running is in the 16th of December, so in just a couple of days. So JLo that was supposed to be here, she's currently flying over to Hanoi to kind of set up with the team right now. Yeah, in terms of education, so before I did mention that we did run boot camps as well. So leading up to NEARWEEK, we had a total of 4 boot camps. So this was why we kind of went to across various university tours to kind of promote this for the hackathon. So we did one for NEAR and Boston. This is the one where we had the most participation coming from because we were already doing these courses beforehand in the beginning of the year. But we also did some for Solidity, JavaScript, and Rust just to be inclusive of all the others as well. Yep. And yeah, just to kind of summarize, we did a combination of various workshop, lectures. We work with universities to kind of bring these programs into schools. And at the end of these programs, typically what we do is also a mini hackathon to kind of incentivize teams or kind of like newbies that are into the space to kind of explore. And then we would do a pitching demo day, usually at these university or various developer meetups location. Yep. And some of the traction number from the educational programs, we see close to 3,000 to 3,500 bidding on Boss and NEAR, and over 7,000 on-chain transactions, and about 20 to 30 different projects coming out of these hackathons, as well as educational initiatives that we did. Yeah, and last but not least, we also are working with university right now to kind of carry out a lot of our initiatives, and this has been a core part of our strategy is to kind of focus on education and mostly primarily focusing on working with university partners. So we've kind of signed MOUs with 3 universities to kind of bring these educational programs into these lectures as well as have courses. So the lectures has been quite a lot of help in helping us facilitate this and making it easier for us to also continue to pump out these courses. And yeah, I think that's pretty much sums up what we've been doing and some of the highlights that we had over the course of 2023. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, David, for coming on and filling in. Awesome stuff you guys are doing in Vietnam. We have another great hub presenting today. Ida, if you want to go ahead.
Sure. And I'll keep it short. I promise, Marcus, conscious of time. Next slide, please. Hi, everyone. I'm Ida from NEAR Balkans. For those who don't know me, I have been running together with my colleagues a hub in the heart of the Europe for the last 2 years. Just a brief overview of what we were doing. We've been operating through 3 phases. Focus areas were ecosystem growth, partnerships, and product development. We've been running the operations in 7+ countries. I say 7+ because in the last year, we have also done some of the things outside of our region as well. One of the highlights in terms of partnerships were strategic partnerships onboarding, such as XLR, such as Nansen, where we work very closely with Lele and the foundation team, but also MasterCard within the region, where we actually focus a lot of the efforts on the onboarding of the non-Web3 users into Web3. We've organized over 50 community events and conferences across the region and outside. And the focus of the 3rd phase that have started beginning of this November is going to be community growth by onboarding the developers and founders all across the region. If we can go to the next slide, I would show you just a little bit a year in review from the Balkan side. So as I said, some of our efforts were into building new products. So one of them was Tekuno. I'm going to show you just briefly in more details. Then the strategic partnership with MasterCard, very big appearance on one of the largest fintech conferences, and ETH Denver, then the partnership with Axelar and Nansen, but we also did a big activation with the World Rally Cup that was going in our region. Then we announced the new product, which is Pathfinder, essentially, we transfer on the blockchain, was participating in the conferences such as Future Tense, which was essentially like futuristic conference for Web2. Block Split, the largest regional conference. NEAR was the main player there. We had a really big appearance there and the activation of the founders and developers. Then we did an activation on ETH Belgrade side event and also Web3 Tales event, which also included boss workshops. Then we moved into Berlin, where we actually were participating as NEAR on one of the largest web developers conference with 12,000+ attendees. We've actually collected over 500 developer leads on that one. So one of the learning points is let's be present on the conferences that are not necessarily Web3. And then we did different activities with one of the media houses where we actually used Tekuno and onboarding into Web3 tool for voting on the real-time TV show, which has shown how NFT can have specific utilities. As well, collaboration with our Vietnamese colleagues, having Tekuno as part of the NEAR APAC. Another big activation with MasterCard on one of their campaigns for the end users. Activation on the Game Changer conference, which was essentially like a digital and gaming conference. And then we were also present last couple of weeks on Data Science European conference, where we had a presentation on the AI and blockchain. And this is essentially the first time we actually started pushing NEAR as AI and blockchain kind of player and solution within the region. And this is also going to be one of the focuses moving forward. We officially launched our product Pathfinder on the mainnet. And now moving forward, as the community growth is one of the biggest focuses, we started moving more into the partnerships. One of the first ones were with Sandal Wallet, LearnNear, Digital, Mesha, Best, and Quantox, which are essentially big student organizations, big developer workshop, developer shops, etc. So that's a bit of a year in review. Next slide, please, Marcus. Just briefly on our two products, Tekuno is essentially a business as a service platform, issues pods. So essentially it's an attestation tool, and we call it Web2 to Web3 onboarding because it's a very simple solution, like some others that we've seen in the NEAR ecosystem. It has already activated both the users and both the revenue that is flowing through this solution. And one of the things that we have following up are basically integrating with stuff like Stripe, multi-chain compatibility, etc. And the next one is Pathfinder. As I said, decentralized file sharing platform, exclusively built on NEAR protocol for now. We launched it in November 2023. Now it's in the market validation phase. Thank you, everybody who have tested it and give us their feedback, because it's really useful. And some of the next things that are in play are more integration with Calimero network, because we look at it as a business tech solutions overall that we can offer to the clients, and further upgrading security and privacy. This is something that we talked already today. Cameron mentioned it a lot, so, and Illia, so that's on the plate for us as well. And the last one, Marcus, if we can move on. Essentially, as I said, moving on, focusing on onboarding. I mentioned the partnership. The way how we see the developer journey is onboarding, joining the community, ongoing education and opportunities and support, in which we already touched upon with the NEAR Horizon and NEAR Foundation. We see there is a lot of work to be done yet on finalizing the funnel between the hubs that are onboarding and between all of us that are nurturing and retaining. But this is something we look forward to working with all of you moving forward. So thank you, everybody, and greetings from Croatia.
Thank you so much, Ida. And last up on the regional side, we have NEAR Globe now.
Thank you, Marcus. Hi, everyone. I am Cheesy. I have been in the NEAR ecosystem for 3 years and have built communities in the Turkish and German-speaking area, organized NEAR workshop and blockchain academies. Today, I am here to talk about the NEAR Globe DAO, short summary about what it is, its strategy, and how to apply it to the DAO. As we all know, the significance of a crypto community for a project is immense. It helps to spread the word, attract new users, and even secure investors and partners. A community also provides valuable feedback and gives trust in the project. So the NEAR Globe DAO serves as a bridge between communities toward one direction. And we will work closely with the HOM to fulfill the goals of the NDC. We are in total 5 councils, and all of us have a background at NEAR and have previously led a regional community before. Next slide, please. There is currently a lack of alignment between the activities of regional communities and the sustainable key performance indicators. Also, there is no onboarding program for new local communities for further expand NEAR into other regions. And there's also an overlap between the activities of the regional community and other DAOs. Next slide, please. Our DAO has a KPI-based reward. So each community will make a proposal first, and if it gets approved, they will receive the reward based on their achieved KPI afterward. So 50% will be prepaid and 50% based on the report at the end of the month. And we will classify the communities into 6 tiers from S to E and give the reward accordingly. Next slide, please. If you come to the KPIs, 12.5% will go to the referral systems. So for creating new wallets or onboarding new users. And we believe that continuous outreach to new audiences in the source of the new community members is the source of new community members. And we will focus on increasing the daily usage and transactions on NEAR. One example is the engagement and gamification mechanics, for example, with Zilli on social media or NEAR social. Another strategy is to demonstrate NEAR to non-blockchain communities, for example, with trade fee apps, traditional software companies, and AI ML data provenance. Education of the local communities, creators, and influencers plays also a big role for us, and the communities will hold local, offline, and online events, and also participate in workshops. Next slide, please. The main long-term goal of the NEAR Globe DAO is to make the communities self-sustaining, which means that the marketing costs will be covered by themselves, for example, by having partnerships, ads revenue, or selling goods. Another goal, as I mentioned before, is to partnership with non-blockchain communities and to harmonize diverse NEAR communities across the globe toward one direction. Next slide, please. We are looking forward for your participation for new and old communities. By scanning the QR code on the right side, you will be redirected to the proposal form. Our team will review it accordingly and get in touch with you. Our mission at NEAR Globe is to catalyze a powerful and united movement, ensuring the world is aware of the extraordinary technology embedded in the NEAR protocol that transforms our everyday lives. Thanks for having me here today. Let's keep building on NEAR. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for coming from the regional side of things. Amazing updates. I have no idea what that red line is, but we're going to keep the momentum because we still have quite a bit of content to get through in a short amount of time. If we do go over a little bit, this will be live on YouTube or streamed on YouTube, so you can find it later. But without further ado, we have some amazing projects coming to give some updates. We'll segue into NYM.
Yeah, hi, this is Harry from NIM, and I think Ade is going to give the presentation, but I'm here as the CEO and co-founder. I'm here to answer any questions. Ade, are you there?
Yes. Thanks, Harry, and thanks, Marcus. So today we'll be talking about the NEAR and NIM partnership. Next slide, please. Okay, so first of all, why is privacy so important to us? For anyone that doesn't know, NIM is a layer 0 privacy focused infrastructure. Next slide, please. So for starters, on a global scale, yearly data breaches cost companies $4.45 million. That's an increase of 15% over the last 3 years. And the things that come to mind are the likes of business uptime, remediation, legal fees, as well as audit fees. From a first glance, this doesn't all look very exciting, but when these things are put at risk, it puts a huge payload on the companies that are affected. Next slide, please. Okay, and our solution, next slide, is a decentralized, incentivized mixnet and private credentials. So our flagship product, if you like, is the NIM mixnet. And this prevents traffic analysis by adversaries who are capable of watching your network. The likes of the NSA come to mind. And the NIM token, this is how we incentivize our node operators, and they are paid based on the amount of staking as well as validation that goes on with the transactions in the mixnet. NIM Credentials is another one of our products, and this allows anyone, when it's launched, it will allow anyone to expose certain parts of their identity in exchange for a service. If you imagine you want to make use of an online health service, all you would have to do is expose maybe your name and your date of birth, whereas the rest of your identity stays private. So your doctor doesn't necessarily need to know where you live or where you were born for you to access healthcare services. And lastly, the Nix blockchain, well, this is an IBC and CosmWasm enabled Cosmos blockchain where NIM credentials lives. Next slide, please. And last but not least is NIM VPN. This product will allow end users to leverage the power of the mixnet directly from their computers. Next slide, please. Okay, and what we're all here for is the NEAR and NIM partnership. If we go on to the next slide. So we're actually long-term partners. Since 2021, NEAR has supported NIM's foundational development through the Open Web incubator. And more recently, we're now planning to provide unparalleled privacy, which will allow NEAR's users, as they access their favorite NFTs, DeFi protocols, and dApps, to do so away from the prying eyes of malicious cyber criminals. Next slide, please. And this isn't a one-size-fits-all sort of product. Next slide, please. The way this is going to work is, first of all, we're going to have a discovery phase between NEAR and NIM. This will allow a fit-for-purpose product to be designed. There will then be a build phase, which will then go through a rigorous test before it's deployed. What we're thinking of right now is that it will most likely look like a wallet integration with NIM's mixnet. Next slide, please. And this is a very simple illustration of what the integration will look like. If you imagine NEAR's wallet users are on the left, as soon as they do a wallet sign-on, they will have the option to choose if they want to route their traffic through NIM's mixnet or not. And if they choose to do so, then as you can see here, their internet traffic is flowing through multiple layers of encryption, which will help them mask their IP address, as well as obfuscate their geolocation so that cybercriminals cannot track their internet packets from where they originate to where they essentially end up, which is with NEAR's apps and services. Next slide, please. So I'll leave you with this. We're dedicated to building a privacy-focused future, and we're excited to be working with NEAR. And next slide, that's it from us.
Yeah, and I would just like to say that, you know, we've had a long history of NEAR. I remember going to China with Illia not so long ago, and we really think wallet integration with NIM, as long combined with holistic privacy analysis, which we've talked about with folks like the Cypherpunk Guild and stuff a while ago, will really be useful for making NEAR eventually a #1 privacy. 2019, a #1 privacy ecosystem, because you will have a lot of use cases, not just ordinary users, but like, you know, enterprises who really want to build software on NIM. and everything will also enterprises that want to build on Near will need some privacy, and so will a lot of different apps. And so we're providing, again, network level privacy with some kind of lightweight zero knowledge, but we'll kind of look at the whole ecosystem about privacy in Near, because we know there's a lot of other stuff happening, so we can discover more complementarities over time. If there's any questions, or maybe there's not time for questions, I know but I'm happy to answer them in chat.
For sure, yeah, 100%. Anybody has any questions? Cameron, as usual, is raising some really good ones. Definitely take them in the chat, and really appreciate, again, you guys coming on. It's definitely definitely appreciated. Next up, we have Octopus, who's been building in the Near ecosystem for quite some time, and they have some amazing, exciting updates coming out. Without further ado, I'll hand it over to Vivi.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Vivi. I'm a partner and also head of media for Octopus Network. Very happy to see you all here. Now, today, like Marcus said, we have great news to announce. The launch of Near Restaking, which is the major part of Octopus 2.0. Now, if you remember, we mentioned that we started the upgrade plans in the beginning of the year, and now we are delivering it. Next slide, please. Now, before I get into more details, I'd like to ask you all to mark the day, December the 17th this year, which is about 4 days from now. You could stake your Near to AutoChain to earn more extra rewards. I'll get into more details shortly. Next slide, please. Now, for those who don't know who we are yet, we are one of the key infrastructure on Near, designed to serve application-specific blockchains or app chains, which share security, interoperability, essential utilities, and community support. Now, the logic behind it is straightforward. When you could customize your decentralized applications with a specific blockchain, you could greatly improve your user experience, and that is a key to mass adoption. Next slide, please. So in the beginning of 2023, we started the Octopus 2.0 plan, which includes 2 parts. One is Near Restaking, and the other one is Adapted IBC, which will connect Near with Cosmos. Next slide, please. Okay, now let's talk about Near Restaking. So the idea is actually inspired by EigenLayer, the most straightforward understanding of restaking, the gentleman from the ETH community put it, you stake ETH and then you stake it again. I'm not going to more details about how EigenLayer works here today because of the time. Next slide, please. And just to let you know that we are doing something similar with Near for the Near community. Next slide, please. So the Octopus Network team has been working on a smart contract called Restaking Base, which brings restaking to the Near protocol. Like I mentioned earlier, in about 4 days' time, Near Restaking will be live. And that means Near holders like you and me, and probably a lot of you watching and listening to the Near Town Hall right now, could restake our Near tokens to earn additional rewards. Next slide, please. And I know that, you can read and watch our founder Louis Liu's presentation and how the whole process works from the back end by clicking the link. Now, given the time limit today, I'm not going into the details. Next slide, please. So I would like to tell you, when it comes to value distribution for layer 1 staking rewards, 100% of the restaking rewards from the Near protocol will be given to Near holders. So when it comes to app chain rewards, 70% will be distributed to Near holders, and 30% will be the revenues for Octopus Network, which the team will use to buy back OCT tokens in the open markets and then burn them, which would be a value appreciation for OCT holders. Also, it's up to the app chain teams and communities to decide how and how much will be paid to restakers. So in the case of AutoChain, the rewards will be in OCT tokens. Next slide, please. So now let's just the important issues. Why restaking and what are the benefits? So, well, obviously there are many. For Near holders, restaking allows you to multiply your earnings when you restake your Near to validate or delegate to app chains. And also for the broader Near ecosystem, by enabling restaking with Near, there will be more app chains and middlewares to use Near as underlying staking assets. Will be increased obviously the value capture for Near. Also, in addition, risk-taking encourages NEAR holders to stake more, thus reducing the amount of NEAR in circulation. So this dynamic helps establish a healthier supply and demand balance for NEAR. So furthermore, a very important point we'd like to make here, which is in line with NEAR's open web mission, the Octopus team plans to relinquish control of the risk-taking based contract, making risk-taking an immutable part of the NEAR-based protocol. So that means the risk-taking infrastructure that Octopus team built is permissionless, and any project in the NEAR ecosystem could use it for free to provide shared security with NEAR risk-taking. And so, for the Octopus community, obviously, it's going to be a win-win situation as well, since we will be able to expand our market presence and generate more revenues, and also ultimately increase OCT holders' interest through the buyback and burn mechanism. Next slide, please. So without further ado, NEAR risk-taking will be live with AutoChain. AutoChain is an app chain initiated by the Octopus community. So Octopus Network will give away 4 million OCT tokens as a support as risk-taking rewards to NEAR stakers. Next, please. So get involved with the great experience. You could follow our Twitter and also our website for the instruction on NEAR risk-taking, which is coming very soon. Next, please. So before I wrap up, also, we mentioned that there are two parts of Octopus 2.0, right? So I also have another great news to share. Secret Network, which is a privacy protocol from Cosmos, will be the first project to use adapted IBC that we built to connect to NEAR from Cosmos. So and the timing is the first quarter of the coming year, which is like the coming quarter, basically. And that marks the beginning of a new era for multi-chain realities. Next, please. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And like I said, our Twitter and our website, and also here's my contact. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vivi. We have two last sections left. So like I said, anybody that needs to go on the hour, this is being streamed to YouTube. You can find it after. If not, like I said, two more sections before we wrap up. Next up, we have an amazing project building on NEAR. Potlock, I'll hand it over to you, Shop.
Yeah, so let's go back to when I first came on the NEAR. We're the first carbon neutral blockchain. We was giving out NEAR drops at festivals. We was doing beach cleanups, yoga DAO. We were just the coolest, vibiest, down-to-earth people. But now we got the users, we got the consumer apps, we got the tech, we got the primitives, we got the Ethereum alignment, we got the DevX, we got the DAOs, we got the BDs. But do we have the impact? And do we have the culture that drives the movement of impact that we need to create and build the truly open web? So howdy, everybody. I'm Plug, one of the core contributors at Potluck, the public goods platform and composable protocol on NEAR. And this holiday, I know a lot of you on Santa's nice list want to fund public goods. And I am proud to announce that all the public good elves are hard at work, tinkering away, composably building for the boss. And so our mission at Potluck is to build plural funding mechanisms that are only possible on NEAR, but also shift the culture of NEAR to use NEAR as not only a way to fund open source development, but also positive impact at scale. Next slide. And so just to give an idea of what the solution looks like is we are a plug-and-play fundraising mechanism for public goods to track the progress and also unlock higher levels of capital. And so for projects, you sign up and you raise, you share your progress, and you get access to higher levels of funding pools. For donors, you amplify your donations through matching pools, and you also earn for raising for your favorite public goods with on-chain referrals. And for patrons or people who support funding rounds, you make impact like a VC with future retroactive rewards. And for fund managers or round managers, you're able to launch your own rounds in a permissionless way. And so if you go to the next slide. And so this is what the current boss application looks like. If you go to potluck.io or .xyz or .org/app, you'll go directly to our boss native application where you can sign up as a project. When you sign up as a project, it makes a profile on Near Horizon and on your social. And you can also sign up directly as a DAO with a Sputnik DAO proposal. And then also users, they can directly donate. And then once you share that, you can also get a direct on-chain referral. So if you go to the next slide. Here's kind of our direct roadmap. We've been tinkering hard away. So direct donation to project registration is live. We're also working on our own contract-based Sybil resistance to prevent bots, especially in the Quadratic funding rounds. We are tinkering away at the final parts of the contract and building the front ends, and going to be launching some QF rounds in the beginning of Q1, right around the holidays or after the holidays. And then afterward, we're going to be building a permissionless protocol to plug and play, and also a decentralized BD network where you can earn for bringing in different funders and whatnot. And then later we'll be working on account abstraction, remote accounts, and actually plugging and playing with these new funding mechanisms. And so if you go to the next slide. And so shout out to the 40 project that signed up already, open source project, communities, nonprofits, and just kind of getting at some of the concepts that we're tackling. Yeah, so we're working a lot on account abstraction, working on some non-custodial social auth, sticking Web 2 data for companies to easily apply, on-ramps and off-ramps, also working on testation primitives and tracking impact, adding new funding mechanisms in a composable way. We're actually going to be releasing a framework in the next couple of days, kind of outlining what these public good Legos are and how you, as a contributor, as a developer, as a regen, can contribute and actually compose this kind of the Legos in the protocol. And then also we'll be kind of targeting mobile users and building a 501c3 identity layer so we can kind of get those tax exempt benefits coming on forward. But the main call to action, if you're a project, sign up. If you are someone with Near, donate directly. And yeah, happy holidays, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Awesome stuff you guys are doing on the Potlock side. And then the last section, we have NEARWEEK to give us an exciting overview of the things that happened throughout the year 2023. Gus, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Marcus, and hi, everyone. Thanks for the amazing presentation on Potlock. So I work at NEARWEEK. We're basically a media that will keep you updated on everything, what's going on in the Nearverse. If you have not already, you can subscribe by clicking on this link. That's just subscribing to our weekly newsletter. We have a lot of other stuff going on. It's been a busy year. I feel a bit like in crypto, it's a bit like dog's year. So like 1 year in crypto, it feels like a lot. Next slide, please. So a lot of the things that I'm going to mention here today are just some of the most clicked stories on which has been featured on our weekly newsletter. There has been the launch of the boss. I think was the baby steps towards where we are now with Open Web Stack. This was actually having front ends reinvented. Next slide, please. We had a lot of growth. I think David Weinstein covered that already very well, so no need to drag out the time here. It's just amazing to see that we're not at 1 billion users yet, but we've really seen a huge uptake in apps like Kaching and Sweatcoin and type of adoption that brings. Next slide, please. The Black Dragon has returned to the foundation, and also a new PFP with some kind of dragon as well. Pretty awesome to see. We were very thankful for Marike for her effort at the foundation, but it is very nice to have Illia back. And I think, me personally, I'm very, very bullish on the open web stack and this narrative. I think this is the exact direction we want to go. We want to collaborate with other ecosystems, and this is the way I think we're going to get to mainstream adoption. Next slide, please. We also have Near Horizon that launched this year. We already have the first batch live. We also have basic applications opening for the next batch. We already begin to see the output of the first cohort and the stuff going on there. That's something we're really excited to. And I think in general, what I've noticed as well is really the founder focus on Near protocol has really stepped up. The founder group is very active, and those synergies and those protocol synergies is starting to happen. So very excited to see that as well. Next slide, please. Another launch, NDC, was also mentioned. This is, I'm kind of like a governance kind of nerd. So this has been very interesting to see how this has formed inside the Near community. A lot of things we built, Sybil resistance, I am human, etc. It's been a lot. Transparency Commission reports and all that, and it's a very interesting experiment, and I'm personally looking forward to see future incrementations of this, and we live and we learn. I think a nice analogy there is perhaps in relation to also Potlock is Gitcoin grants. There we have had quite short feedback loops. We have had actually every like quarter a new season. We have had a post-mortem or like at least a write-up from Metallic, like, and that I hope we can get into this focus too, and really just keep iterating on the NDC. Next slide, please. There's DevHub as well. We also work closely with DevHub, just like Banyan. I think it's very nice that like it all starts with developers, right? It's kind of a cliche, developers, but at that stage, that's in my opinion still where we're at. We need good developer toolings. We need more developers. It needs to be easier to build, and then I'm pretty sure we will see more gradual, intake of projects that are not really crypto on it, Web3 native. I know we have stuff like Catching and Sweatcoin that are actually like kind of Web 2.5 or whatever we want to call it. But I think developers is everything, and very excited to see how this is forming. And this is how this is kind of spinned out and become an organization. Very, very exciting to see that as well. Next slide, please. Oops, Google Drive. Yeah, and lastly, just want to wish everyone happy Xmas and happy Near Year. It's been an amazing year. Us at NEARWEEK, we are very happy to keep going, keep grinding. Just want to say thank you to all our partners at NEARWEEK. If anyone has feedback for us, new concept we should do, or want to partner up with us, we are always happy to do so. So please stay near, and yeah, thanks for the time. I try to keep it very short.
Awesome stuff. Thank you all so much once again for being on here. We had so much to go over. There were so many exciting things that happened in 2023. But again, like I said at the beginning, I'm even more excited for 2024. There's a lot of things in the pipeline. Keep an eye out. Definitely join the spaces tomorrow with Illia around chain abstraction and data availability. And I hope everybody here has a wonderful day, and we'll see you in 2024. Take care, everybody.